Stage 1, initiate, the lure. A forgotten account pings. An onion-style invite sits in the message, layered with human-readable breadcrumbs. You hover, then click. The address reads like a map. An onion path and a timestamp, 3:47 a.m., recorded at the instant your cursor paused. Hashed file names ripple as the archive resolves. Each string feels like a fragment waiting to be translated. You open a folder marked in forum shorthand and find the first layer, strained conversations folded into the archive. Metadata offers a contradiction. One mirror claims 2018, the other 2019. The absence of EXIF is its own kind of clue. Screenshots and reply chains unfold. Tiny breadcrumbs tucked in margins suggest a larger architecture just out of sight. You copy breadcrumb URLs to a pad, noting 3 deleted posts that break the conversation's spine. The hash A3F8C9E2.bin carries encoding artifacts, small echoes of a system fraying at the edges. Zooming in, you catch echo_beta and a fresh access log, a name attached to recent movement in the archive. You run checksums. 2 hashes refuse to match their mirrored counterparts, a technical mismatch that smells like intent. The archive's main page loads with a trembling warning. Crossing this threshold, the air tightens around your shoulders. Stage 2, Apprentice, first threads. Read a thread where alpha_archive and beta_mirror trade guarded lines about lost echoes, small deliberate hints. Reply chains stitched together across hours. Banned users leave ragged holes in the conversation. Search returns mirrored posts with subtle wording shifts, small inconsistencies that erode certainty. A log entry bears a date that collides with a calendar note in your own handwriting, a thread tugging at personal history. You connect a breadcrumb from a screenshot to the list. The archive begins to fold itself into your past. The header reads, mirror, node_7, but the encoding stutters, a small symptom of a larger decay. You save a screenshot at 2:30 a.m. and add it to the evidence folder. Each file feels heavier than the last. A new post from alpha_archive reveals a breadcrumb pointing to a mirrored node. You follow, because curiosity is a direction. October 15th, 2023 access log lists node_5 with an unstable status. A small beacon in a shifting map. Node 5 displays folders of hashed names. Each folder is a sealed door into someone else's archive work. The access log and your screenshot disagree. The discrepancy links back to a dated circle on your calendar. The archive is mapping onto your timeline. Your handwritten map pins node_5 to folder _A and a name, echo_beta, stitched into the margin. Search results return corrupted encodings, evidence of neglect, or of deliberate obfuscation. 3 threads converge on June 10th, 2015. The repetition feels less like coincidence and more like a mark on a map. Stage 3, Enmeshed, the archive. You begin a deliberate sift through nested structures, assembling a map of cryptic codes and time markers. A folder shows creation in June 2015 and a recent modification in November 2023. A long silence with a sudden return. Comparing mirrors, you trace small edits and omissions, evidence that messages have been refitted over time. A checksum reveals a mismatch on byte 7. Corruption or tampering, the archive refuses a simple explanation. Hours at the screen have left their mark. Your reflection looks back like a witness to the slow unspooling. You transfer dates to a timeline board, drawing lines that begin to stitch the archive into a personal geography. Extracting hidden traces reveals shadow_arch, a new handle stitched into older files. The node list reveals 3 active points. Node_7 times out like a heartbeat skipped in a long rhythm. Node_7 times out. Another thread frays at the edges, another door slammed mid-sentence. You save the timeout notice. Each saved fragment becomes part of a growing dossier of questions. The evidence folder sits at 52 items, a mounting record of partial answers and persistent gaps. Patterns appear on the board, but gaps yawning between them make the link to your past feel both nearer and uncertain. The file A3B9C2.enc shows encoding noise, a technical riddle that deepens the archive's mystery. An access log from March 2018 lists an IP tied to your local network, a quiet breadcrumb that feels uncomfortably like a fingerprint. You link the 2018 entry to a personal event, adding another stitch to the slowly tightening timeline. An old thread names shadow_arch in passing. The handle threads through older conversations like a seam. Mirrors differ by 5 seconds, tiny disparities that point to rapid edits or an imperfect replication. Stage 4, fracture, the map breaks. An archive link unexpectedly resolves to the ClearNet, revealing a real name and the year 2020. Anonymity momentarily stripped away. The timeline shows lines crossed out in red, places where earlier assumptions have failed under new information. Hidden metadata on the page names a city, City X, and the knowledge flips a private alarm into focus. You cross-reference City X with public records and find matches that tighten the archive's thread to events in your life. Node_5 blinks green and offers partial access, an invitation and a warning in equal measure. Inside Node_5, a personal_docs folder contains documents that mirror events from your life with unnerving detail. You back up the documents. The evidence folder now holds 63 time-stamped files, each one a small, weighty proof of connection. Redactions cover key lines, but marginal notes mark City X and 2020, hints that someone chose what to hide. Overlaying threads and documents reveals repeating dates, 2015 and 2020. The pattern narrows even as the meaning widens. A connection warning forces your hand. You start a backup of the 63 files, racing against the archive's instability. The backup crawls to 50%. A slow, deliberate record being made while the world outside keeps moving. A message from an old account reads, "I see you in the archive." Its tone collapses the distance between you and whoever watches these nodes. You weigh the options, reply and risk exposure, or disconnect and carry a partial truth back into the dark. Stage 5, aftermath, exit or sync. You choose to reply cautiously, seeking context for the 63 files and the ties to City X, accepting the risk to gain answers. Node_5's logs flicker between 2018 and 2023. The archive keeps its own disjointed time. You send the message, the backup completes, and the archive answers with a hashed file name and a breadcrumb. Layer 64 added to the pile. The response points to a deeper node. Files there mirror your past with unnerving precision, timestamps aligning to episodes you remember. Redacted page matches previous documents, but margin annotations reassert City X and 2020. 3 new clues folded into the same story. 3 new connections fill places on the board, but a gap in 2017 yaws open. A missing chapter that reframes what you thought you knew. You receive a final choice: meet to close the loop, or use a deletion tool to erase 63 files and reclaim distance. The deletion tool promises to wipe files and logs, but it can't erase the fact that the archive mapped back to you. You step away from the screen. You carry fragments of a past unearthed and a choice unresolved. Whether to sink further or to surface remains yours.